So I'm basically saying that it's going to take you, the people, to institute what you want, to educate the people in the communities, to educate the people everywhere on what we want, what we desire, what we need, to educate the people to the need for change, to educate the people to the basic political desires and needs of people as a whole. Eldridge Cleaver, the Minister of Information of the Black Panther Party, third in command of the Black Panther Party. Eldridge Cleaver, author of Soul on Ice, one of the best sellers that's sweeping the nation. Eldridge Cleaver, a head staff writer for Ramparts magazine. Eldridge Cleaver is being launched and pushed on the part of the Black Panther Party as an effective organizing tool, as an effective organizing means whereby we would educate the people more to the basic political desires and needs of the people. As a Black Panther candidate running on the Peace and Freedom Party ticket in conjunction with the coalition between the Peace and Freedom Party and the Black Panther Party for president of this rotten, racist United States. Eldridge Cleaver, our Minister of Information, realizes the necessity for people to go forth and to oppose this system. From electoral politics all the way down to righteousness, having to defend yourself with a gun when you're attacked. So I want to say that there's a lot of work to be done. We're down in New York, some of us. Others are in Chicago. Others are in Illinois, in Michigan, and of course California, to put Eldridge Cleaver's name on the ballots in as many states as possible, to work hard to oppose the Lynching Baines Johnsons, to work hard to oppose the lying, slick-talking Nixons, to work hard to oppose the slick-talking capitalists, Rockefeller, to work hard to oppose the Mayor Whites and the Mayor Reddings and the Mayor Lintzes, to work hard to oppose the armed guns and force that's always sent down on the people's head, to oppose the atrocities and the murders of people in this country and the world. Huey P. Newton, the Minister of Defense of the Black Panther Party, who's now incarcerated in the Alameda County Jail and also being tried there in Oakland, where the judge and the DA are picking and doing their damnedest to pick a racist jury, where the power structure and Governor Reagan want to kill him, the practice of capital punishment, kill Huey P. Newton, where they charged him with said, quote, murdering a cop, wounding another. Well, we patrolled pigs on those streets out there for 6.5 months. And if we had wanted to just murder a cop, we could have murdered a cop. But we didn't murder no cop. It was only defense. Huey P. Newton was stopped for a traffic ticket, a citation. Now, if you read the papers where there had been a shootout and a robbery and someone was killed, you'd have passed it off. But when a shootout occurs and a man is stopped for a traffic ticket, there's a hell of a large gap to be filled. Now, I can't talk too much about the evidence of this case, except one point that the lawyer told me to bring up wherever I speak and run down the situation. To go into a little detail, the tape recordings that are made between the police calls from a squad car to the police station stated, and this was gotten a hold of by the lawyer by a discovery of evidence, a motion for the discovery of evidence, that the pig cop said on his radio, I see a known Panther car. I'm going to stop it, send me reinforcements. 10 minutes later on that tape, it came back from the police station and said, "Work him over." It was Newton, the leader of black people in the black community there in Oakland, California. Those very black people who said, "These are our basic political desires and needs, Brother Newton, we dig it." Those black brothers on the block, those people who wanted change, many of who had probably been in demonstrations and had their heads beat, many of who have had their heads beat and had their loved ones killed and murdered by racists. The power structure was out to kill Huey P. Newton. On April the 6th, a shootout occurred between the Oakland police and the Black Panther Party. Now I'm going to show you something. The day after that, April the 7th, a barbecue picnic had been scheduled in Defirmary Park in the heart of Oakland to launch the political campaigns of running Huey P. Newton for Congress and Bobby Seale for the 17th Assembly District. Electoral politics, people going forth to functionally organize and work to be able to change the situation. Panthers were out that night trying to get a hold of potatoes and other necessities for selling these $1 barbecue dinners to raise funds to launch the political campaign. And those racist pigs, San Francisco, Oakland, and Berkeley, conspiring together with the Emeryville Police Department there too, attacked members of the Panther Party and tried to kill the leadership and murdered young Bobby Hutton, treasury of the Black Panther Party at the time, and also who was the first member of the Black Panther Party. Because we want basic change, because we want an end to oppression, because we'll go work and functionally organize, not because we are murderers or anything, but because we want change. We were attacked. So the brothers defended themselves the best they could. And it was a 90-minute war with a few brothers and some 50 or 60 pigs, where they actually, in fact, tried to kill Eldridge Cleaver, who was wounded in the foot, and murdered Bobby Hutton, and wounded Warren Wells. He was also arrested.
Here we are again.
Test. Well, I can. You got this below.
What do you want me to say now?
That's much. Okay. One. That's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that buzz is.
People's lives have been taken. People have been jailed and oppressed all kinds of ways. We find Brother Huey Newton behind bars for defending his right to defend his people, for defending his right to act as a free individual, a man whose body is liberated territory. We have the man who helped Brother Huey Newton organize the Black Panther Party for self-defense, Brother Bobby Seale. All right. Thank you. It's good to be here to see so many people trying to move and understand the revolutionary struggle that's going on within the confines of racist, decadent America. So being here for the first time to be able to run down
about the revolutionary struggle, about black people's black liberation struggle. Therefore, to speak to you and explain about the Black Panther Party, to speak to you and explain the meaning of coalition between parties and groups, such as the Peace and Freedom Party's coalition with the Black Panther Party, a working coalition, might I say, and how we all, black people in their black liberation struggle, and we all together go forth pushing the revolutionary struggle to have a revolution in this country, to change the oppressive conditions that black people are subjected to change the racist decadence, to end imperialism. We can speak of lynching Baines Johnson, and we will. We can speak of buffoon Ronald Reagan, governor of the state of California. And if you've been keeping up with the news, we'll be talking about J. Frank Coakley, district attorney of Alameda County in California, who's now prosecuting Huey P. Newton. We'll talk about Mayor Redding of Oakland, California. We'll talk about Chief Gaines, and we'll talk about Mayor White here, and we'll talk about pigs, and we'll talk about a power structure with a police state brutalizing and crushing people's heads, and we'll talk about the right of people picking up guns to defend themselves against the oppressive conditions that exist in this country. We're going to talk about the fact that we're peaceful people and we stand for peace. That we don't want war, we want to end war. Wait a minute. We're going to talk about the fact that we do not want war, we want peace. We want to get rid of the gun, but we got sense enough to know it's necessary to pick up the gun to get rid of the gun. And if you think it's a bunch of jive, then you better listen twice. Now, we walked around this country, black people, and we sat in, and we rolled in, and we slided in, and we prayed in, and we swimmed in, and we begged in, and we jumped in, and we had all kinds of ends. And while we was having these ends, we was singing, "We shall overcome." And while we was singing, "We shall overcome," the power structure sent his pigs down, and they kept a beat to the tune of the song, "We shall overcome," with a billy club crushing our skulls. We got to stop it. There's nothing wrong with the people protesting, because by the First Amendment of this jive Constitution of the United States, it says we have a right to protest. But no, what happens? We begin to protest the oppressive conditions of black people. People go forth and we begin to protest in the rotten, atrocious, murderous, genocidal war in Vietnam. We protest the exploitations of peoples throughout the world and black people right here in America. And when we protest it, it only shows the criminals where they are. They violate the very laws that are supposed to protect us. Now, this is going to begin to give you some understanding of where we're going, some understanding of why the Black Panther Party, why Huey P. Newton, the Minister of Defense, organized the Black Panther Party, why it's necessary to understand that the gun is well related to politics, why we have to understand really what power is all about. When we say black power, we are not here to be jiving somebody with a lot of dissertations, with a lot of bull crap, with a lot of long essays. The Black Panther Party came forth to really run down what power was all about, basically. Now watch. Let's get on into a little bit of history. They run around here with their poverty monies and they put it in the black community, and they got Nixon running around here talking about black capitalism, which is black exploitation of black people. We're tired of it. And they come up they come up with some incipient notion about green power. Green power. Well, all we got to do is look back in a little bit of history right here in the confines of this decadent system. And during the Civil War, as you know, the South had Confederate money, the North had Yankee money, but both sides had guns and force. The North outmaneuvered the South, took all the guns away, and defined the so-called green power, Confederate money of the South, as not being money anymore, and they burn it in the streets. So black people have come to a new realization. Now, what was happening here? What we found out from understanding that there's no such thing as green power, we begin to understand where power really lies. Where do power really lie? We look back in a little more history here in the recent years, 3 or 4 years, and what did we see? In the confines of this nation here, we saw over 250 black rebellions on the part of black people scattered throughout this racist nation. Black people were doing what? Black people were doing a specific thing, not in any form of articulation, but in terms of reaction to the power structure. Now, we're going to get on down to nitty-gritty and not miss any nitty-grits and understand exactly what was happening. Huey P. Newton says, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. Power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. Phenomena, social phenomena as it affects black people, and we say black power. Now, black people, Brother Stokely, Brother Rapp, Huey P. Newton, Brother Eldridge Cleaver, all, and many black leaders who've been talking to you and speaking to you here are able to define it. They have the ability to define the social phenomenal situation as it affects us. We look into history, such as, for example, from 1890 to 1900, on the average of every 3 weeks a black man was lynched, and not one white racist who committed this particular act was brought to trial. From 1900 to 1916, some 1,600 black people were lynched and murdered in the confines of this nation, and not one of them were brought to trial. No justice was brought about. Now, we look around in this nation, and we see many black people being shot down and murdered in the streets, and we see even many white people getting their heads and their skulls cracked because they're protesting. What's happening here? The power structure sends in guns and force. Guns and force. Every time the racist, decadent power structure makes a political decision upon any people's heads, and those people disagree with the political decision, then the power structure sends in guns and force. Lynching Baines Johnson and this racist government has made political decisions upon the Vietnamese people's head. The Vietnamese people disagree with it, and the power structure sends in guns and force. Black people in the black community who've led black rebellions have disagreed with the political decisions that's been made by this racist power structure that causes the oppressive conditions that black people live in, and this racist, decadent power structure sends in guns and force. In Oakland 3 years ago, all they had was 350 cops. They got over 1,000 cops that occupy the black community, man. This is what Brother Huey P. Newton understands. Not that he can't do that, he does it very well. Very well. But Brother Huey P. Newton, the brother we love, the most courageous leader, the Black Panther Party, after he took the 10-point platform and program of the Black Panther Party, went forth in the black community and took a sample. This is before we hit the streets with guns. A sample of 1,000 copies of this platform. And only one person disagreed with 1 point out of 1,000 people. This wasn't just a process of just giving a leaflet to somebody. It was a process of sitting down and discussing with the old people, the old mothers and the hard-working brothers and the brothers off the block and the brothers who've been to jail and the brothers who are on their way to jail and the brothers who are on parole and the college students, etc. The people accepted this. They said, this is what kind of organization we needed. The only thing Huey P. Newton outlined was not something just of his own. He basically outlined the desires and needs of the people that have been voiced for hundreds of years on the part of black people. So these basic political desires and needs become essential as the reason why we have a liberation struggle going. And not until black people actually receive these basic 10 points will, in fact, I'm talking about in full with a new system here, Not until black people receive these basic political desires and needs will there have been a revolution. And for us to receive these things, there is going to be a bloody revolution, because we go into the community in terms of in the black community to organize and bring black people together in some unified fashion, unified around these 10 points. And every time we do that, those pigs attack us. And when they attack us, we have to shoot back so we can get our basic political desires and needs. This is the meaning of why it's going to be a bloody revolution, because that racist pig power structure with its military and everything else is going to try to murder the people who are going to go forth to try to institute new government for the people as a whole. Huey P. Newton took 50 young black brothers off the block, trained them, and disciplined them with the gun. Told them, and it's not the gun that's dangerous, it's the man behind the gun that's dangerous. And like those pigs who are dangerous to us, who's murdering us, it's the man behind the gun that's dangerous. Explain to them that every human being on the face of this earth has a right to live, therefore he has a right to work. Explain to them that laws are made by mankind in any society, anywhere. They are made by mankind to serve mankind, and once those laws stop serving mankind, those laws have to be changed. Huey says we're going to go forth, and we're not going to slide in and roll in. We're going in our black communities, brothers, with our 12-gauge shotguns and our 357 Magnums and our 45s, and we're going to patrol these pigs who've been brutalizing our people in the black community. And if we catch one of them pigs brutalizing and trying to murder one of our people, he said, we're not going to stop arrest. All we're going to do is bail the brother out. But if we catch him brutalizing him or trying to kill one of them, we're going to kill them pigs. This program, this part of the 10-point platform and program was initiated where we said we wanted an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. Point number 7, we went forth to work on that point. That basic political desire, that basic political need of the people to have an end to brutality and murder of black people. Other points of the program have been worked on too. But it seems that when we went to the Capitol, the state of California, May the 2nd, 1967, when Governor Ronald Reagan saw all these brothers off the block with their guns, very disciplined, loaded down to the gill, wasn't ready to take no bullcrap from them, he jumped up across the lawn, he was on the lawn that day, and ran. And those black brothers, for the first time in their life, began to understand what power was all about. That this might have been minute and very small, but Ronald Reagan was acting in a desired manner. That in fact, when they were patrolling those pigs, and those pigs we stop and stand what we call a reasonable distance away, as written in California law, that every citizen has a right to observe an officer carrying out his duty as long as you stand a reasonable distance away. And traditionally in the courts, a reasonable distance was considered to be 8 to 10 feet in the state of California. And that's all we needed was 8 to 10 feet with shotguns. And working in this fashion, police brutality in Oakland stopped for a period of 6 months. The pigs were made in a period of time to act in a desired manner. So they went forth to the state of California, the legislature, to make laws against the Black Panther Party, against black people, to say that you could not arm yourself. They went forth so far across this nation, and as you know, the nature of this country is violent, its history is violent. Violence being projected upon people, violence used to steal and take from people. Went forth, and they've gone forth to tell people to disarm themselves. Mayor Alioto of Frisco asked the people to turn in their weapons. I knew no Black Panthers was gonna turn in their damn weapons. But the thing is, they're going across this nation talking about gun legislation. They're not gun. Why in the hell is it can't they make some gun legislation against these pigs who are brutalizing and killing us? Let's disarm the cops first. Let's disarm the military. then they'll turn around and tell you that no, we can't disarm ourselves, we must have enforcement of law. Well, one of the greatest hunky police forces in the world is in London, England, and they don't carry guns, those cops. How come they can't do it here? So I'm saying, Eldridge Cleaver, the Minister of Information, came into the party because Huey P. Newton told him it was very necessary. A black man with his skills, with the abilities that Brother Malcolm X had, said that Eldridge Cleaver, brother, you must be in the party. The people need you. Very bad. And one day Eldridge Cleaver came out and visited us in one of the black communities where we was going to hold a black people's rally for the first time in this particular black community, where the Black Panthers blocked off the whole streets with their guns and everything and told the cops they couldn't come up, only the people could come up. And he admitted that it takes even the power of the gun for a people to peacefully assemble. And the brother joined the party and is one of our most valuable workers, one of the most valuable members of the Black Panther Party, and very, very valuable to black people. And while we do it, we must understand we have a right to self-defense. You know, we speak of self-defense, and I'm going to go off on this a little bit because it's very necessary. The Black Panther Party doesn't attack anyone. Huey P. Newton, when he named the Black Panther Party, then it's necessary to go forth and see that they're changed, to see that the system is changed, to see that capitalism and exploitation of black people, capitalism and exploitation of even poor whites. I can't go into no poor white community talking, but you can. You can. So across this state, in every black community, and as we move forth, we in the black community want power to determine our own destiny in our black community. We want black candidates to be run. And those of you who want candidates who are going to oppose this system in the white communities, have them run. This is a working coalition. This is meaningful here. The signatures that are needed to get Brother Eldridge Cleaver on the ballot can be done by you thousands overnight. I've seen it done. We worked with the Peace and Freedom Party when it first came on the ballot. In Oakland, California, Alameda County, and San Francisco to put the Peace and Freedom Party on the ballot. Now that we've worked to get the Peace and Freedom Party on the ballot, and they worked hard too, it's necessary for us to go do some more work, all of us. The 30-some-odd signatures that are needed, and if everybody will get a sheet for the signatures of registered voters, we might be able to put Eldridge Cleaver in this state on the ballot. And you talking about some hard revolutionary work and the new revolutionary politics being enacted, moving. This is where it starts. Power for the people comes out of the barrel of a gun. Power for the people comes out of the barrel of a gun. Not to be an atrocious murder, but to defend yourself against those who oppress you at all costs. And we're railroaded to a grand jury indictment system where the grand jury did not even consist of the man's peers, not any one of our peers. Every member on the grand jury was white, racist, and over 50 years of age.
Mentioned that the Black Panther Party is at 375 million
I like to say this here, if we're not, and we got about 7.5 of them out here now with no tickets back. We was hoping to raise some money, so we're going to need some money too. Members of the Peace and Freedom Party and other members will be asking you for donations. And pigs, cops are pigs. Thank you.
And goes out and works tonight, we'll put Eldridge Cleaver on a ballot in Massachusetts. And that's what we got to do it. We got to do tonight and tomorrow. How many of you people are ready to take a petition out and get 35 signatures? Takes 35 signatures, 2 hours work. And that's what we're going to have to do. Now, we got tables set up under the light.